remasters, remakes, remasters of remakes from remade remasters. These two terms have defined the 9th generation of consoles. What I once saw as a gift from the gods has become nothing more than blatant cash grabs from our favorite companies. But amongst a pile of lazy PC ports, half-baked remasters, and remakes that literally no one asked for, is a game by the name of Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven, and I can assure you, the only love in it is in the code itself, because this title is what a remake should be. So, with that being said, I want you to join me as I share my thoughts about this game to answer the most important question. Is Romancing Saga 2: Revenge of the Seven good? To properly answer that question, I will be assessing the gameplay, the story, and its overall replayability, so let's begin. Starting with the gameplay, it is separated into the two standard modes being exploration and combat. Exploration is self-explanatory. You can run around, pick up items, interact with NPCs, and also initiate battles that take place on another screen. Now, it is here on the combat side of things where it gets spicy, as the Romancing Saga series puts an interesting twist on what is normally a vanilla turn-based experience. What I am referring to here are proficiencies. Every unit in the game comes with certain parameters in which they excel, and also areas where they are deficient. This means no matter how hard you try to make your greatsword user an archer, it just won't work out, due to them being hard capped with whatever they can learn in a particular field. On the surface, this seems like a lot of micromanaging due to every stat of a character being able to level up at its own pace, but for me, this is my favorite leveling system. It does a great job of making your party feel uniquely yours until the end game, as not everyone will play the game the same. In addition to that, the enemies in the game also rank up alongside the player, meaning you will put yourself at a big disadvantage if you continuously run from the battles. Lastly, in regards to the combat, you will switch party members on the fly multiple times, either due to them dying permanently, technique and skill learning, or due to the story. While this may sound unappealing at first, I found it to be quite fun as you can choose a different playstyle with each generation of emperors. But do not worry about your learned techniques, as those can be transferred to a character of your choosing at any time. Honestly, the amount of detail put into the combat is well thought out and as balanced as you want it to be from start to finish. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass when I say this, but just like the Elbow Kid, I'm going to say it. This is hands down one of the best turn-based JRPG battle systems I have ever gotten to experience. It is disgusting how invigorating it is on the turn-based side of games. It shows you how timeless a product can be when it is given the proper time to cook and is not afraid to be different even 30 years ago. But I hear you barking, big dog. Enough about the gameplay, dude. We get it. You like it. But didn't ask and don't care. I know what you guys want to hear about, and that's the story, so let's move on to that. It starts with a guy who is actually a king by the name of Leon. But this is no ordinary king, as Leon has no problems standing on business. This, unfortunately, leads to his death at the hands of Kazenzi, who is one of the seven by the way, and it's his son Gerard who takes up the helm to do what his dad couldn't do. From this point forward though, it gets spicy as the story is not contained to one character. It is multi-generational. Meaning not only will the emperor change age, sex, and even species, because you already know, your boy was not only a salamander, but a freaking mole. I mean, come on. Game of the year material right there. But also your party members will change too. The true goal of the game is to take out the 7 heroes who at some point in the past absolutely lost their minds. Once the 5th hero is beat, which you can fight in any order by the way, the final emperor is triggered, spelling the end of the game. This may sound a bit jarring since a lot of us are used to rocking it with one crew, but I found it to be a nice break from the same old. Naturally, you will end up taking down all 7 of the heroes and congratulations, it's over. While the story is somewhat bare bones outside of that, you do have to remember that this game is from 1993, so I'm fine with its lack of depth. This isn't one for pulling your heartstrings, as it is for bumping up that heart rate with some fun and challenging battles. But now, let's talk about its overall replayability. Addressing the elephant in the room here first, the remake of Romancing Saga 2 brings a ton to the table in terms of quality of life improvements and additional tweaks that do not steal the spotlight from its original vision. We are talking higher stat caps, full-blown 3D environments, united attacks, full transparency of mastery levels, finding Mr. S for all kinds of goodies, and an extra slew of fights post-game if you happen to find all the memories of the 7 heroes. It almost brings a tear to my eyes when I realize the amount of effort put into making this a modernized title. Finding Mr. S was a blast, as the rewards he gives, especially near the end of his board, is satisfying. But most important are the optional fights against the 7 heroes once you have found all their memories. This quenched an itch for me after the main game, as I did not want it to be over with just yet. Moving on, due to the game's structure, this is one that I can already see myself replaying in the not so distant future. It reeks of experimentation, whether it's good or bad, and on my next run, I would try to main a few different weapons from the start. Speaking of runs, my first playthrough took me around 48 hours according to my Steam time, which is by no means quick. Keep in mind, I did try and do as much as I could, while also just learning what the game is about, you know? Anyway, a subsequent playthrough of this would be all about the gameplay for me, and I'm okay with that. The story is just literally about defeating the 7 heroes, with some side quests in between, so skipping it for more action wouldn't be a problem. But with all of that being said though, I believe it is time to answer the most important question of all. Was Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the 7, good? Good? How about great? In my opinion, this game should be the golden standard for how a JRPG should be remade and brought to the modern audience, with not only its quality of life improvements, but also platform accessibility. The turn-based combat centered around proficiencies and scaling monster levels does a great job of keeping the player engaged, though to some this may seem like too much micromanaging. The story is not perfect, but with the constant change of scenery, party members, and generational emperors, you are giving up that magnifying glass focus for a broad range of different experiences. In a world full of remakes and remasters of remakes, I have grown tired of half-assed efforts from billion-dollar companies looking to make an easy buck. If you're going to go through the process of turning a 2D game into a fully 3D one, then why not add, let's say, voice acting or post-game content that was not present in the original? I'm not asking for 10 hours of additional content, but more so just the notion that the developers at least cared. I understand that there's a fine line between keeping the original vision intact versus changing too much and losing its identity. But if there's one thing that the Romancing Saga 2 remake did, it was just that.
Something truly vile approaches.